Excellent. Right. So yeah, welcome to, where are we? This is the 84th month of 2020. November the 18th. Here we are, and this evening we're doing a tips and tricks sharing session. And so thank you very much to everyone who's put themselves forward here. There is going to be a vote at the end of the session for the audience to say which talk they thought was most interesting or most entertaining or most useful, and the people who finish first and second in that vote will get a certification voucher, Salesforce certification voucher, which is good, I think. So yeah, please take part and make notes as you go. My thinking is we will ask questions at the end of each little segment, just in case anyone's got any queries on things. So that's what we're going to do. What's coming up, a bit of a chat where we had that. Here's our hashtag LundevSFDC. So yeah, you fancy tweeting about stuff you've learned, then that's the hashtag for us. And you can find us on the Success community as well. I should put the link up in the chat at some point, and on Twitter as well. We're going to chat about a bit of community news, and we're going to get onto the main body of the show, which is the tips and tricks lightning sessions. Then we're going to have the vote and the awards of the vouchers, and then maybe some more chit chat. And some point of that, I'm going to hopefully have some food and beer turn up at my desk because that's the way it rolls. So yeah, let's get on with it. I think so. Community news. Oh, here we go. So stuff to be aware of. Spring 21, I think. I mean, that seems like a lifetime away, but actually it will be in pre-release boxes in the next couple of weeks. So if you need to be on top of that, then that's a good date for you. Sandboxes will be in January the 9th and then in production February, which, I mean, I hope spring comes sooner, but not necessarily the spring Salesforce release. What else have we got? This was something that got tweeted out recently, was the Apex recipes, which is a GitHub repo that you can install into Scratch or dev.org. And basically has a library of code for common kind of like concise, meaningful examples of common use cases and best practices for Apex. So I think that's probably worth putting out. I didn't see it being retweeted too much, so I didn't know if there was much to be seen. But that looks quite useful for those people who might want that. As Amanda said, who's wonderfully joined us tonight, there's going to be a Christmas meet, a mega meet that we do every year. Obviously, this year is going to be very different. Or maybe not very different. It will be different. A joint meet with the admins and the women in tech, and possibly others. I don't know yet. And Amanda, do you want to cover off? I don't know if I've missed any details that have been firmed up yet in here. For me, please?
Nothing too firm at the moment. If people have joined us prior to for other Christmas mega meets, we would normally do like a review of the year for each of the main groups. So we do a quick chat about how our year's been. I think this year we're quite focused on Zoom calls somehow. It's just, I feel. And then we don't tend to have a bit of fun. I think we can look to see if we can get some fun on the go. So try and keep that going. Unfortunately, no Christmas cake this year, although it's all very up to you. If you'd like to bring your own cake, then do so, and also merriment and cheer and beer and wine, whatever else takes your fancy, really. So that'll be that. We may have some extra other little goodies or a sponsorship, so that's all in the workings as well. So I think as soon as we get that date confirmed, we can then start pushing out that information and getting everyone to sign up. So exciting times ahead. We're definitely going to have a Christmas gathering, though.
Yes, excellent. Yeah, so please all watch out for that on our various channels. I don't know, there's too many to mention. The Trailblazer community user groups, the Success community platform, chatter groups, and our Twitter and things as well. Other news, MVP nominations are open. For those that don't know, there's a set of nominations occur each year now, I think, for Salesforce's MVPs, which is most valuable players, I guess. And this is where Salesforce recognise people who've gone above and beyond in the ecosystem to help kind of share their knowledge and passion and time to keep the ecosystem going. So that's open until the 1st of December. There's a link there. I will, if I can remember, I'll tweet these links out afterwards as well. Obviously, you don't have to take notes of these things.
Todd, I believe it stands for minimum viable product.
Speeches.
So we've, I don't want to start naming people who are these minimum viable products then, because that would that would not look so good.
Todd, one thing to add, if I may, please, for this year especially, anyone who is a current MVP minimum viable product, or maybe most valuable player or person, then fortunately we've all been renewed, which is lovely. However, if there are anyone in the community who you think has done great work, would love to be rewarded, then please concentrate your efforts on someone who would be newly nominated.
Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. Right, I've got visitors into my room now. Hello.
They've come early.
Is that for me? Oh, come on then. Oh, okay.
So we moved to very much a family show. We've got Amnon's little one here, but I don't think they'll understand some naughty words, but definitely family show time.
I've been given a spoon, so that's a good sign. That means I'm going to be fed shortly, which is excellent.
It's actually her bedtime, but she said, I want to see the dev group.
Really?
Really?
Said that, yeah.
Oh, that's
It's looking very much like Boris at the moment, though, mate. It's looking worrying.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
certainly.
Can you see
Big for
her?
age.
Oh, that's better.
Oh, that's quite something. Yeah, my Harper only ever really wants to join the admin meet. I don't know what that says about us, but yeah, she's very excited for tomorrow. Oh, it's
You've got taste.
The London admin group is tomorrow night, I think. Amanda, that's correct.
It is at 6 o'clock. And we are going to be looking at winter release. We're finally getting around to looking at winter release before spring release kicks in. We'll look at that in January, I'd imagine. But
I don't know if this says something that the devs are already looking at spring and the admins are now looking at a release that's already in prod, but we won't get into that right now. I'll skip ahead.
We were busy. We had cake last month. You know, we were enjoying the fact of being together and having a party and stuff. So, you know, we're social. What can we say? Admins are social.
Very true.
Plus, for the devs, there was like this brilliant article on Salesforce Bend the other week with all the dev highlights from Winter 21. Must have been written by...
Who wrote that, Amnon?
I don't know. Must have been some sort of mega mind genius.
Yeah, absolutely. Must have been
really handsome kind of guy.
Do you think perhaps you could share a link to that, Amnon, in the chat and maybe on the Twitter, just in case people need to verify?
Might be able to find the link to that article.
Cool, thank you.
Anyway, wasn't Winter 21 a release for admins anyway? There was chocker full for admin stuff. I mean, I'm amazed you had a look in, frankly.
It had the safe, what is it, the safe navigation operator.
Yeah.
That was for devs. We haven't had anything new in Apex for years. That was a real result.
Yeah. It's a real handy thing. Anyway, we digress and we're keeping Joey up, so I guess we should.
Oh, 2 a.m. Yeah, poor lad.
Rattle on. Yeah, so Dreamforce, of course, as I think has been mentioned. I've lost track of all the dates, to be honest, but these are some I found in some Twitter feeds. There's the keynote on December the 2nd. I don't know the time. And there's this thing called Dream TX, I think, which is for the 14th to 17th for developer content. I hope I've read all this.
Training content, I think they described it as. So I think it's developer admin. It's the kind of thing you'd find in the Trailhead zone, is my understanding.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Oh, the TX might make sense then there. But yeah, there's go to salesforce.com/Dreamforce if you want to be bamboozled by dates and when to be up in the morning. I don't know, but that's exciting, of course. So hopefully there'll be some announcements too. And the last bit of news I think we've got is a changing of the guard, right? Has Richard joined us? I can't.
No, he hasn't, unfortunately.
Well, I'm just going to have to send him this afterwards then. But for those who don't know, our dev group has 4 current leaders, and after 8 years of being co-lead of the group, Richard has stepped down and leaving us. He's not an MVP, so maybe now's a good time to sort this. He's 8 years of service, seems like you get less for murder, so perhaps we could help him there. He's spoken many times for us. He's been a valuable asset to the community as far as I can see. He's shared lots of knowledge. He's been a Dreamforce speaker, a Dream Olay speaker, London's Calling speaker many times, French Touch Streaming speaker. Oh, for those who don't know, these are community events that happen. And feel free to ask us in the chat about these if I'm covering stuff you don't know about, of course, sorry. But yeah, he spoke at all these, and then virtual dreaming too. And then I ran off the bottom of the slide and ran out of space to talk about him. But yeah, we're very grateful for everything that he's done for our group here. And I was hoping, I had pinged out so many people to ask for comical images of Richard, because that's the sort of thing you do when you're celebrating someone, is you make them look a bit silly. And I couldn't find anything at all. So I thought, well, how has he influenced me with all of his talking? And I came across all these photos. And I thought, let's take a look at these, see if I can get something from his body language. And just look at his arms. He's such a good arm person. Like, there's Shakespearean things in here. There's one where he's pouring a...
Alas, poor Yorick.
Yeah. I mean, he's... And then playing the accordion and everything. And I just thought that, these are he just looks so spot on and professional and everything. It makes me ever so jealous. But yeah, he's been a real asset to the group, and I hope everyone will join me in thanking him for doing this. So yeah, thank you, Richard.
Todd, you just didn't ask the right people for incriminating photos and things.
Do you know what? I probably didn't, Amanda. I probably should have asked you.
We are a family show, though, so we...
Oh, it's not that incriminating. I'm not going to... But if I put my photo up there, can you see that? There we go. He's wearing a Christmas jumper with an M on the head. Like a young...
Okay.
Oh, very good.
There we go.
Well, if you could ping that to me, I'll put it into the recording and make sure it gets the full screen.
Okay.
Recording. Thank you, Amanda.
No worries. I'll sift through the old archives and see what other dirt I can throw at him. So no problem.
But in flipping from that, we can welcome a lovely, wonderful lady to our team, which makes us all very happy. Erica is joining us as co-lead of the London developer group from, I think, a few weeks back now. Erica, I don't know if you wanted to give us a quick chat and say hello. I nicked this slide from you, so I hope it's okay to put in now.
Yeah, sure. That's good. So just a little bit about me. I discovered Salesforce last September in 2019 when I did my administrator course with the super moms. Before that, I was a stay-at-home mom looking after my 2 kids. So it's actually like a new career for me. And last April, looking for a job, everybody asked me, do you know how to code? Do you know how to code? I was like, okay, well, I have to start learning. So I learned a little bit through pain, because Trailhead is mainly for already people who are developers rather than are like me that know zero. But at least I can read some code. I can do a little bit of things. And I've had a job, well, I still have my job at Dutch Bank as a Salesforce developer. So I'm very happy. This is a completely new journey for me. I'm a newbie, and my mission will be to inspire a lot of administrators to do the jump and to be a developer, and a lot of women as well. So that's all about me.
That's brilliant. Thank you. And yeah, welcome. And hopefully, yeah, we can make your transition into kind of the Salesforce developerhood easier and better. And hopefully you can teach us all a thing or two about how we might appear to people into that role. So thank you very much. Yeah, and Erica's one of our core team now, which is brilliant. Cool, right.
And also now, because we have someone working at a bank, we can do all sorts of stuff, you know, launder money.
No, I get sacked. No, I can't do any. The only thing it will impede me to share any things if I'm stuck at work, then I need to like retranslate my work into something super basic. So it makes me lose like a lot of time just for a simple question. So if anything, it adds a layer of complication.
Only if you get caught, I say. But
Exactly.
Oh no.
There go my plan for a pension. Oh well.
No, sorry guys. I wish, but no.
oh, brilliant.
Unbelievable. They're already dragging Emily into the wrong side of things. I mean, just, you know, careful now. Oh, sorry, Erica. Careful now, careful now. It's just, you know, watch out for them. They're trouble.
Yeah.
Drives me. Right. So let's get cracking tonight. We have talks from hopefully everyone that's on this slide is on the thing. I can't see all the participants anymore. So I'm going to take a stab that we at least have Joey, who we're going to start with, and Bonnie and Nikita and Eric and Kia and myself and Sonia are going to be giving you some things that we use day to day that hopefully you can take away and use tomorrow, and then I don't know, save yourself minutes on tasks that you do several hundreds times a day. So yeah, I think if that's good, I'm going to stop sharing now. I think if we could give Joey screen share access.
Yep, just one moment.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, Joey, you should be able to. You should now see a share screen option along your bottom, and you can crack on. Good man.
Yep.
Oh,
Can you see my screen, by the way?
Yep.
Or not yet? There you go.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention Lawrence as well. Apologies, Lawrence. I'll add you to that screen.
That's handy. I was just messaging you privately about that.
Yeah, I don't know how I did that. Sorry.
Hurtful, isn't it, Lawrence? Hurtful.
All right.
Oh, awful. Cheers, Todd.
All right, sorry for interrupting, Joey.
Yeah. Should we start? Or
Yes, please.
All right. So just to introduce myself, so I'm the founder and principal consultant of Cloud Jedi Solutions. So I'm also the leader of the Philippine-based user group and organizer of Philippine Dreamin'. So I've been working with the Salesforce ecosystem for the past 12 years now. So what I'll be talking about are two free Chrome extensions that I use on a daily basis that both admins and developers can use starting after this code. So first one is Salesforce Inspector. This is one of the most useful tools that would allow someone to easily build queries and within this interface easily export data. Many of you probably have used Data Loader, right? So what if you won't have to deal with any CSV files anymore? All you have to do, copy it here, paste the data, make the changes, let's say this email.com, and then change all of these. I can then just easily copy all of these, move to the data import wizard, select update, lead, paste the same Excel file that we got from here, and then import. Notice that we didn't have to deal with any CSV files. Another benefit of using this tool is it can allow you to look for any specific users within any of the Salesforce page. So let's say I can type in somebody's user. I can then either go through the details or I can then log in as a user. Right? Within the same tool, we can easily see some of the org limits. So you'll see this developer org, so there's not much usage, but this is actually quite handy, especially if you're, for example, sending quite a lot of emails, any asynchronous limit, especially if you have quite a lot of batch Apex running in the background, asynchronous Apex, things like those. So it will show up here. And then another one is what we call Salesforce Dev Tools. So this is another really useful tool that I use quite a lot. So let's say we can go to a specific record like a lead. So from here, we can then easily go to it's a typical use case is usually have to look at the page layout and see what the field names are. The problem there is labels can have duplicates, right? One use case that we can use this for is we can show the object API name within the same page. All you have to do is click on this and then show object API name. These are the API names that you would then see, right? From here, let's say whenever you're working with a large org, some of the use cases, let's say if you need to see all of the metadata information about the object, all you have to do is click on export. You could then click on object field. And then this would then give you a really nice formatted Excel file showing you all of the API name, the field label, data type, even the formulas and the pick list values. So if you just need to search for something, you could easily just search for it here. It's either a name or email. So it's a really quick way to search for something, especially if an org has hundreds of fields. This is one way to do it. But what if, let's say, you want to get more than one object? This is actually something that you could use. So, what if I want the account? I want the contact, the opportunity. I can then use this quick tool to easily generate one Excel file that shows all of it. So this can be quite useful if you need to generate a data dictionary. This shows you all of the fields that's already in the org. So, and then another useful tool as part of the Salesforce Inspector, by the way, is showing all data. So I'm sure you've encountered some instances wherein you wanted to see all of the fields within a specific record, but the problem there is it's not on the page layout. This is a quick way to check what's in it. So this can easily show you all of the fields. And from within the same view, you could easily edit things. So change this and save. You can even delete, clone, and export. So this export simply brings you to the export. All right. Any questions so far? That's about it for the tips.
Nice.
Yeah, that's so handy. I saw Jay present on the Salesforce Inspector Chrome extension at the, I think it was the Cleveland user group. If
Correct, yes.
If I remember correctly. And I
right,
honestly
yes.
couldn't believe I didn't know about it before. And every day since I've used it at least once or twice. I mean, just to be able to view things that aren't on the page layout. You just, oh, here's everything I wanted, right? It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, you could even add the help text, filter it. There are certain things that's part of the metadata API that could even show.
Yeah.
This is so useful. I actually need to build a dictionary of certain objects. So thank you.
Yeah, these are something that you can install right away, right?
Yeah.
So I'll be sending over the link so that you can install it. You could either use it on any Chrome-based browser like Chromium or Brave. So yeah, I'll send over the links, sure. Right?
I don't suppose it works for users, right? Like this is an extension after all. Right?
I mean, users can also use this. This is simply based on the Salesforce API. So as long as they have an API enabled, they can use this tool.
Okay.
When it queries the API, does it make calls from your own client, or because we go for a VPN, so I'm wondering if it goes for an external IP or it does it from your client itself?
Supposedly, I believe it's all client side, yes.
Cool.
Yeah, it's very neat.
Hopefully that's useful. I mean, I feel like this is something that many people already know about, but for those that doesn't, this can save you a lot of time over how many years, right? So
yeah, definitely. No, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. I don't know if anyone else has any other queries on those two just now.
Hopefully that helps. I'll send over the links shortly then.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, I honestly can't tell you how I use it every day since seeing it. It's saves masses of time. Brilliant.
Cool.
Thank you very much. So next up we have Bonnie, who's joining us from, I don't know whereabouts in the States. Are you, Bonnie?
I'm in San Francisco. So it's 10:30 in the morning for me.
Oh, nice. So you won't have a beer then? Is it? There must be gin before lunch, I guess.
Yeah, mimosas are good.
This is 2020. If you want to have a beer at 10 o'clock in the morning, you should have a beer at 10 o'clock in the morning, or maybe something stronger.
Vodka shots at 8, but whatever.
Yeah.
I should share my screen probably.
You now have co-host permission, so you can.
Thank you. Can and able to, I guess, are two different things. Let's see. I'm starting inside out here with the thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really thrilled to be virtually in London. So it's the closest I've gotten in a while to being in London. I'm really happy to be here. I'm a principal customer success architect at salesforce.org. I am no longer a Salesforce MVP. I have taken a job at Salesforce and so cannot be a community MVP. So there's a slot open for, I don't know, Richard or whoever you nominate that I left empty. And also as a Salesforce employee, I'm not eligible for this voucher that you've got going. So you should vote for me because, you know, throw me all your pity votes. It will not take that voucher away from whoever could actually benefit from it. Cody is my favorite mascot, and that's why I left Cody there. I'm going to talk to you today about coloring your world with Peacock, which is something that I discovered for VS Code. Well, I shouldn't say I discovered, I learned about it. Somebody else discovered it and shared it with me. It's great for when you have multiple projects. They can be color coded. It's great for when you're working with a specific customer and want to follow their brand and show them things that, you know, match what they're used to seeing. And of course, it can just brighten your day because, you know, colors. So let's take a look. I've got a couple of windows open here. I was looking at some Lightning web components here on the website and have them open in my LWC recipes, the OSS version. So that's great, but I also have LWC recipes open here for a different recipe repository. By the way, I will show you where that repository is. It's the sample gallery that has the Apex recipes in it as well. This is the Apex recipes that came up earlier today. The LWC recipes I've got open, and the LWC recipes open source I've got open. They function in two different ways. The LWC recipes are great for testing out, for example, a local dev server, and the open source recipes are actually using Yarn to run in this browser window. So that's cool, but that's not what I'm here to show you. I'm here to show you the fact that, wow, when I've got these two windows open and I'm doing kind of two things at once, it's really hard to tell what's what. They can actually be really super similar because let's face it, we do work that uses name standardization. They can have the same types of file names in them. We do work on multiple feature branches. We do work in multiple repositories. We could have who knows how many of these windows open, and this is not very clear to me to figure out which one I really want to be taking a look at. So the great thing about Peacock is that I can apply colors. I can enter a specific color. So let's try, I think this is Salesforce blue, but I'll find out when I enter the number here. I can enter a hex value. That doesn't look really Salesforce blue. but close enough. It's a nice color. It's different than the existing color that I've got on the other window, and I can probably distinguish those when I pull them up down here. If it's a brand, for example, that becomes even easier to distinguish. I do volunteer work with the Rad Women program as a coach, so I color that window pink. I have another open source project that I'm working on with Impact Labs on the Salesforce.org side of things, and I use their branding color for that. And if you don't like the colors that you have to deal with, you can actually, sorry, you can slowly bring this up. It is a regular, I'm going to go back over here. It's a regular extension that you get through the extensions entry, and I can let it surprise me with a color. So if I'm feeling like I want to find a color that matches my mood for the day, I can just keep stepping through this surprise me until I see something I like. And if I really like it, I can save it and use it again later. I can darken them, I can lighten them. It's actually really fun and really helpful because now I've got so many windows open and I can much more easily tell what they're all about because they're very different in appearance. And that's it for me.
Very nice. I like Peacock. I've been using that for a while.
Awesome.
You regularly have 10 instances of VS Code open. It is quite useful for sure.
And who doesn't regularly have 10 instances of VS Code open, to be honest?
Does it really save the information there?
It does save the information. I should have shown you that.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's go back to share. I can show you. It's just in a JSON setting file. So if we save the current color to favorites, call it, I don't know, robin's egg. And then when we come back in here, it can be in our favorite colors list. Where's that favorite? Change to a favorite color, and robin's egg is still there.
Okay, basically my question was, you closed down Visual Studio, you have each project in a separate folder, and you come back and open, does it really still be there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's close this one. Let's see, this is my OSS recipes, and open it back up, and where did my OSS recipes go? There they are. I need them color-coded in that window too.
Yeah. Oh, excellent.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, it's just an extension like all the others. It's also an open source project, so you can find it on GitHub. I may have that bookmarked. VS Code Peacock. If you go into GitHub, you can check it out and contribute to that project as well. Or just benefit from it by getting the extension.
That's very smart. Do you know if you're able to change the text color behind the? So if you had if you chose a dark color, the text items would be lighter.
I think you have to change those in your VS Code settings.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's a kind of separation between the theme and the outline from memory. I think they're two separate things.
Okay, so I guess if that's saved, I mean that could be saved per workspace anyway, so it would be fine across sessions, wouldn't it?
Right, and you can reset to the regular workspace colors, remove all global and workspace colors. Or it's another option that you have.
Cool, that's brilliant. It seemed like a few people knew about Peacock, but I'd never spotted it before, and I think it's going to be it's going to be really handy. I might need it later, in fact, just in a minute, because I'm going to be sharing a code window, and I don't want to be sharing the wrong one.
There you go. See, useful already.
I know.
Don't forget to vote. I don't need the voucher. It goes to the next person.
You off the poll anyway, Bonnie. You're a Salesforce employee. You're out.
No, I want the votes.
We've stopped the count.
No, I'm gonna call for a recount. Every vote counts. Every vote counts, Kira.
Yeah, we won't argue with that, will we? Although I'm gonna jump in now and share a tip here. But this is somebody else's tip, so I feel really bad about it now. But and yeah, you can't vote for me either. How do I share my screen here? Dun, dun, dun. I've done this before.
15 minutes ago.
Yeah. So the next tip is Apex code coverage overlay in VS Code. I don't know if people have seen this. I hadn't seen this at all until I saw a video. I will put a link up to it. It's using, this is a recording from Philip Ozil, who's one of the senior dev evangelists, I think. How do can I change I want to have good quality on this because it's somebody else's recording, don't I? Let's get this up here. Yeah, so this is about Apex code coverage overlay available in VS Code, and this is offered up via the standard Apex extension, but it's turned off by default in here. The app I've got open is the Dreamhouse app, which is kind of one of the kind of demo apps they've got. I should say that the code coverage in there is complete, but we've commented some stuff out to make it show up what we want. So to turn this setting on in here, you search for Apex coverage within the settings area if you've got the Apex extension installed, which we will have. And there's a checkbox here to turn it on. It is off by default, and that's just because it takes extra processing when you're running the tests, which you may not want all the time, as it will take up more time. But if we switch it on now and then go over to the test icon on the left side of the bar for the project here, we can run all the tests here. You could also do it via the sfdx command that it outputs, of course, in the terminal, and you can see the tests are running now. And then what we can do is we can jump to the test controller in here. Jump to the actual project's controller. At the moment, you can't see any code coverage overlay, but if we go down to the bottom, there's this hamburger menu and click on there. What we can do is enable and disable the code coverage from displaying within your Apex class. You can see here the stuff that's dynamically, the code that's dynamic is highlighted in green, which is obviously good, and the static stuff isn't highlighted at all. And then we see in the kind of the I don't know, it's not the mini bar, is it? I don't know what that's called on the right hand side, but there's a red area. So if we go down here, we can see that this area of code here in red isn't covered by Apex tests. So it's an easy way really of identifying which parts of your code need further coverage. Ideally, I guess is the word in here. So if we jump to the test class for this, now we can see that this is commented out. So if we uncomment this, and then we can go and we have to obviously push the class back up to the platform, and we can do that either through the sfdx command or through, I think, the org browser, or is it Control P to open the VS Code palette? And here we're just going to do the fsdx command, and then we can run our tests again, and we should see once this is run, our code coverage will change. One quirk of this I found is that it doesn't automatically update once the tests are run. So if the tests have successfully run now, but it's still off, you have to toggle the code coverage hamburger icon down at the bottom on and off, and then you can see that it's covered. Yeah, so that was just a very quick tip. I wasn't aware of it at all, and I hope it's useful to you as well. I don't know how I quit this. Oh, there we go. Quit out that video. Yeah, Apex code coverage. That is also available for Jest tests as well. I think it's through. I think it's through a VS Code extension though. The Jest tests code coverage one. I can ping the link up in there. And that's the next tip. And now we're on to Lawrence. I guess Lawrence. Sorry for missing you off that earlier slide.
Hello, that's all right. Happy I haven't been unceremoniously booted out.
Not yet.
Share. Oh yeah, there we go. Cool. Okay, so hi everyone. So I'm Lawrence. I work for an organisation called NCS Trust. So we're a non-profit. We facilitate the coordination of a network of partners that deliver the NCS Trust program, as we provide a Salesforce system for all those partners to use. I also like to code whenever I can. That's mostly my spare time at the minute. So I build and maintain a free app called Formula Share. It's open source. So yeah, take a look at it's on the App Exchange. So yeah, do have a browse if you're interested. So my talk is about a tool called Tab9. So it's a plugin or an extension that uses machine learning to do all sorts of wonderful things as part of your IDE. So kind of what is it? So sort of broadly the way it works. I'm not sure if everyone can see all the faces on the side. Hopefully not. So it's AI code completion for your IDE. So it works with sort of a number of IDEs. So it's a plugin in VS Code. There's an extension for IntelliJ as well, and a number of others as well. So the tool is kind of trained on data sets from GitHub of open source projects, and it also sort of learns from your repo. So as you kind of as you add the extension, you're using it as part of a project, it will index your repository to sort of to work sort of partly based on what you kind of have in your own context, because it's essentially sort of built around kind of pattern matching. So rather than sort of a semantic completion where it's the tool is essentially kind of compiling or part compiling your code. This is just based around pattern recognition. So it works with any language. It's also extremely fast. So it's faster than most semantic completion engines. So I'm just going to jump across and show you all a quick demo. Okay, so I'm going to hopefully in a couple of minutes, if I can, just show a quick component working. So I was going to do the JavaScript and the Apex, but I couldn't quite get it down to a couple of minutes. So I'm just going to show you the Apex, but rest assured it also works really nicely for JavaScript and LWC. So I've got a simple kind of LWC component here. It's expecting a list of rules. These are metadata records that are coming from an Apex method. And just got the HTML basically just displays those on simple component. At the moment, it's just saying we haven't got any rules back. So let's put in an Apex method to supply what the component needs. So as a type, I'll just sort of show you which bits are coming from Tab9. So the way Tab9 works is you see sort of as a type. You see some of the suggestions that come up. I'm using a combination of extensions. So I've got the standard Salesforce sort of Apex ones as well as some others. So some of these suggestions are from the Salesforce extensions, but the ones with the spanners are the ones to look at. Those are all coming from tab 9. So as I start with my OR enabled method, you can see tab 9's already suggesting just from at A, I might want OR enabled. Some brackets in, let's make this cacheable. So oops. You can see tab 9 there, I've used cacheable, cacheable equals true whilst we're on my project, so it kind of knows what that's about. So it's suggesting that, it's quite helpful. Let's put in a static method. So just start just from the start of public static, it's getting that. So return a list of metadata type, which is called share. Okay, there it is. We've seen that before as well. And my method get rules. So first thing I want to do is just instantiate this list. So as I start typing, this is well, so yeah, you can see the tab 9 suggestions at the bottom there. Just from, even though you might have noticed it didn't guess as I was typing that sort of first list, but it knows since I've used this within this file. It's kind of guessing quite early now the actual metadata type that I want to use. So just click enter to auto complete that, and you can see there just you know, when you're kind of creating a list, typically you want to instantiate it right away, so it's kind of suggesting that, quite helpful. It's also suggested me a name, and this is because I've used this name elsewhere in my project for similar things. Just that off. And then I'll populate this list from a query. So I'll start typing this query. It knows that things in square braces tend to start select. There we go, select. And I normally select IDs first, so it's suggesting that. The developer name as well. I'll get that after a few characters. And then from comes next, obviously. It's kind of getting the context quite nicely here. Let's put a limit in, a couple of characters of that, and it kind of knows what's coming next. And then we just want to return those rules. So as it starts to type return, so yeah, it knows returns probably coming next. It's guessing I probably want to return the rules because that's the variable I'm working with. And there we go. There's the method written with me doing about 50% of the work there. Hopefully everything's gone well. Let's see. I'll refresh this. And there we go. There's some names of my metadata records. So very quickly, just finally, just to sort of go through the rather tedious task earlier today of both for the Apex method and the JavaScript function, just sort of noting basically where it was able to suggest sort of characters and where it didn't. So the grey characters are basically the ones that I wrote, and then all the green ones tab 9 guessed for me, basically. So that was about 70% of the characters on the Apex side, about 72 on the JavaScript side. So yeah, I kind of find it incredibly useful. It's sort of, they build themselves as like smart compose for code, which is the kind of the Google kind of predictive email function that's sort of been around for a little while now, a few months now. But I actually think it's a lot more helpful. I think probably because the vocabulary in code is a lot more limited, and it just seems to make sensible suggestions much more of the time, as far as I can tell. So. Thanks everyone. I don't have a thank you slide, probably should.
So Lawrence, I really liked tab 9. I used it a little while ago. I found that this was on a Mac with probably fairly large projects. When I had about 5 or 6 windows open, it started to get quite CPU hungry, so I switched away from it after that. Was that just me being with a bad setup, or is that something that's common to it?
Oh, interesting. It's not something I've come across, but I use Windows.
Okay.
It's never felt to be honest, as I say, it's always felt very fast to me, and really surprisingly fast. That's kind of one of the things that just kind of has always seemed surprising to me, is quite how kind of responsive it seems. Yeah, but it may be to do with the size of projects that I'm working with. I don't know, something else.
Question though, did he use Codota or Tab9? It was recently bought by Codota, right? So which one did he install?
So I'm using Tab9, I think, and I'm not entirely sure about this, but I think Codota is the so I think there are some IDEs where they brand themselves as Codota, and somewhere it's still Tab9, and I think for VS Code it's Tab9, but it's kind of Codota Tab9. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they were recently bought.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Thank you very much, Lawrence.
Cool. Thanks a lot, everyone.
That was very smart. I mean, anything that can stop me typing gobbledygook into VS Code is going to be appreciated, I think. Of course, if I type gobbledygook once, it will come back and haunt me forever and a day, won't it? That's really smart. Brilliant, thank you. We're now on to Erica. You're up next to share us your tips and tricks from your journeys into the dev world.
Yes, if you can make me a present.
Yep. Yeah, there now.
Brilliant, thank you.
You're too fast for me.
Oh. All right. So let me present. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about Workbench, which is a free tool that we can use to make some quick report, quick search, or a quick update into the org. For the people like me who didn't know, we can do two different types of queries. One, it's a proper circle query, and the other one, it's a search query. As I said, it's very powerful for quick reports, and especially for permission set and profile, because you cannot do a report on that. And so I'm going to explain you how to get it set up, because you just have to go to that specific link to Workbench. That is super easy. But in order to have access to the child or to the parent data, then you need to go to the settings and go to allow circle parent relationship query. If that one is not ticked when you go to the Workbench. So that is a little bit of a trick to know that you have to do it to get the right queries. I did made some 5 examples. So this is how Workbench look like. You will have, here you select the object, and here we put a profile, and underneath you see the field. Basically, you just click on the field, and that is pretty much what it is. The query always starts with the same kind of keyword, which is you select the field, and it's always usually the ID and the name, and then you can put any other field that you want to from the name of the object. If it's a standard object, you just put the name of the object. If it's the custom object, it's finished by __C. And then you put where, and then this is where you put the kind of requirement that you're looking for. So here, let me see, because obviously I don't have, yeah. So here, if you wanted to see what users are on a specific profile, you can do this specific query that you see here. You can also see it when you go to the profile and then just look on the assignment list. But that was an easy one to get into it, if I may say. The other one that is good is to see the profile that have no user, in order for you to be able to clean a little bit your org with the stuff that you do not use anymore. And so again, that will be to see the one who have no profile. It will be the select the ID all the time, the name from profile, the object, where ID, and then the key specific word is not in, and then you select the profile that you are looking for from the users. I guess you get from my slides that I have many different examples. I can go through all the remaining two, or you can, I'm happy to share that so you can have this query already made for you in the future. But when you, I wanted to talk about the create object permission, because that one, it's good to see since we can't do any report. So again, it's the same. Where it's important here, I will say, is you can order all those data that you have, and then you can, so here if we look, it's select again the ID, here you put the S object type, the permission read, all the permission create, edit, delete, etc. from object permission. You could, for permission set or custom permission or permission set group, it's actually the exact same word. It is object permission, and where parent ID in, and then select ID from permission set, where permission set from profile equals standard user. You can change it to all the other profile that you have, and you can order that by the S object type, and then give you a super clear table on what does what. So for account, it's true for everything, but maybe for opportunity, which is down the line, but you can see it in the picture. It might be like it's true to read, but then to create, not everyone has it. It can be false, etc. for edit and delete. And my last one was about, I never know how to say it. It's not a circle, it's a search.
Social?
How you say it again?
I don't know, honestly. I call it social.
Okay, all right. For a social is for before I go to that, you will always see that kind of message, and it happened to me all the time, and I was like, what does that thing mean? It only means I was missing a comma between two fields. So it took me more than an hour to understand what is this thing. Is basically all the time is because you're missing a comma. That's what it means. It's not that your logic was wrong. It's a typing mistake. Yeah, as I said before, you can use Workbench as you could use Data Loader to update, upsert, delete, and undelete your data. And finally, this is something I discovered helping one of my friends. I don't know if she's here today, but basically she wanted to find what record a user had that was impeding her to do an activity. And I forgot what was the activity, but basically when you are facing that issue, the easiest way, instead of like searching like a mad person for days into your org, you just go to Workbench, you put find, here I put the name of the account, but you can put the name of a user and write in all fields, and then it will give you everything that that is attached to that account, or for the example that I did with my friend was the user, because basically now I remember this user was inactive, and she couldn't give the license to another user because that inactive user was already linked to some record that was attaching to something. So that is a really powerful tool. It's super easy to use. Definitely administrator can use it, and developers are still using it. I know some people in my team are using it. So I hope I wasn't too long. I hope I was clear enough. I will be happy to share my notes because it will be easier. And that's it. Voila.
Smashing. Thank you, Erica. Definitely. I mean, if you can save somebody an hour just like that, then that's definitely useful. Yeah. I do wonder what's going to happen with Keir, what's the replacement of the Workbench? They're going to roll it into the online build tool, aren't they?
Code builder.
Code builder, yeah. I guess
Code spaces equivalent, yeah.
I mean,
did you say that?
So Workbench isn't an official Salesforce tool, right?
Oh.
It isn't. And if you go on the Salesforce Developer Podcast, you can hear in one of the early episodes from the guy who wrote the Workbench and how that came to be, which is really interesting. I definitely recommend that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the new tool now is a Trail?
No, Code Builder is in beta at the moment, and I think the plan is to move appropriate functionality into that. I'm not sure it's going to be as wide-ranging. I keep thinking you should be able to produce a CLI plugin that does everything the Workbench does, and then I look at how much the Workbench does and think, yeah, that'll take me about a year.
Yeah, I mean, you could see that though as being something that either gets put into like a VS Code extension, or perhaps a secondary Electron app that lives on the same workspace as Code Builder, right? That would be, I mean, that's how I'm seeing it in my head. I don't know if people see things going elsewhere, but
yeah, sadly, I'm going to get near the beta for that.
No, I did ping again just for the audience. I pinged again several product managers asking them if we can get, like, as organizers, we can get onto the betas to show off the tools, but they said their hands were tied, so we're going to have to find some other means to do that.
Yeah,
that's
I think
really
the best place to get, like, the only place where I get like constant news on Code Builder is actually the Twitter account of Claire Bianchi, because she's one of the people who are building it, and she's a lot more transparent than honestly sometimes Salesforce itself about it.
Oh, nice one. Well, there's a top tip. I mean, yeah, if you haven't heard anything else, then follow Claire Bianchi. Yeah, that's brilliant. Smashing. Cheers, Diego. Cool. Right. Next up is Keir.
Way.
Yeah.
My big moment.
And you can't vote for Keir either. Please.
Right. Let me share my screen. Hopefully you can all see that. Little sneak peek of this is something else I'll be talking about later on in my second little talk. But nice segue there as we started talking about Code Builder. So if you came along to the TDX recap that we did, you'll have seen that I had set up the code spaces, the Microsoft equivalent, through VS Code using an Azure, etc., etc. Not long after that, they emailed me and said that beta was being finished. And I'd been switched over to the GitHub code spaces beta. Huzzah, which means I don't have to pay for an Azure server anymore. So that's very good. So what, and this just came completely out of the blue. So this is just a Salesforce repo, which I've actually set this up first, but I can open it with code spaces directly from GitHub, and I can choose one that I've already got, and that will fire me up my editor in the browser, which is very cool. And I've installed the couple of extensions that I use and I like, so that I can show you those when this comes into being. So I suspect this might have thrown them a slight curveball if Microsoft kind of moved it more towards the GitHubs, more to the repository than the actual VS Code tool itself, because you had to install a bunch of extensions and hook it into your Azure, etc. Yeah, so this is a CodeSpaces running on I'm guessing an Azure server somewhere, but I haven't had to concern myself with any of that. Effectively, I've just got a button on my repository and I press that and it allows me to open it. Just activate extensions at the moment. So I'm going to open up an HTML file. The first, actually, no, I'm going to open up an Apex class first. So the first one that I use is, I have to remind myself of the name of it as well. Where's it gone? Bracket pair colorizer. So what this does, this is a nice simple thing, but as you put in things with brackets, they get different colors. So hopefully you can see that. I've just zoomed that in a bit. You can see you've got the blue ones there. And if I then do X and Y, you can see that they're getting slightly different colors. We've got a white one and then we've got a blue one, and it works on things like angled brackets and squiggly brackets. It's just kind of a nice way of allowing you to see easily whether you've opened and closed things, and allows you to trace the kind of opening and closing. So very simple, that one, but very cool. Something I've been using for quite some time. I imagine it only saves me a few seconds here and there, but if you figure those all out over a year. The second one is actually a built-in, so this isn't anything that I've had to particularly install. I did have to do a little bit of configuration, and it's called Emmet. And Emmet is, I think, again, something which works across a number of IDEs. It's not specific to Visual Studio Code. And what it allows me to do is to one of the things, it allows me to do a lot of things, and I haven't gone into it in detail, so there's loads of stuff that I don't know about it. But if I want to do, say, a bulleted list with a single list item in there, I can just type in those couple of things, hit a tab, and it generates it for me, which sounds big whoop. But I can also do things like, I'm going to have a lightning card, and inside that I'm going to have a div, and inside that I'm going to have a lightning input. So I just separate those with greater than, hit tab at the end, and then it builds that out for me, which is quite nice. Saves me a bit of typing. Where it saves me a lot of typing is, oops, wrong one. Lightning layout, lightning. So I'm doing a grid here. I know I need 8 things in my grid. Start 8, tab, there you go. I've got 8 lightning layout items in there. That is very cool. I don't use it often, but it just saves me a lot of really boring typing or copying and pasting. The other thing that Emmet gives you is its own form. So VS Code has built-in snippets. Emmet has its own form of snippets. So I can just type some characters, hit tab. Actually, that's... why didn't that work? That is the right thing, I think. Yeah, interesting. Okay, Emmet can also allow you to do snippets. And the reason I use Emmet for snippets normally is because I can just hit tab and it takes it as a snippet. So it's not like it's trying to auto predict and offering me a big long drop down of the snippets that may match. It's in my control. I type something, I hit tab, and I'm telling it. I'm kind of inverting the control, which I also quite like, which I think is quite cool. But Emmet is really nice, and if you go to the Emmet site itself, there is a huge manual on all the weird and wonderful things you can do, and it is very good in that respect. But as I say, the main thing I use it for is the multiplying this tag by a number and suddenly getting that many of that tag ready to go is very nice and very cool. And that was a whistle stop on those 2 that I use, and of course CodeSpaces, which is very cool as well. Downside to CodeSpaces compared to Visual Studio Code Builder is that I had to install sfdx. So it's in there, but I had to install it from scratch via npm. And also, if I want to, that's taking its time. If I want to connect it to my dev hub so that I can create scratch orgs, I have to use JW2 authentication, which always takes a little bit longer than simply firing up a browser. I guess there's possibly a way from this that I would be able to fire up a browser, but I haven't really investigated yet. But it's pretty cool. And I can run this on my phone, which is also very cool, because I have push to an org through my iPhone. I would not recommend that as a development environment, let me assure you. And I will stop sharing now and hand over to whoever is next.
That's brilliant.
I have a quick question actually about the CodeSpaces. Do you know if you can connect it via the locally installed VS Code? Like, for example, you can connect to SSH server.
I haven't really pushed it very hard, to be honest. I've just been all I've done with it. I've spun it up using Azure. I mean, you can do it locally as well. You can connect to a local server, etc. But I've just been using the built-in functionality on that. And with GitHub, I literally had to set up nothing. I just from my my repo, I just press that button, and it handles absolutely. It fires up the Docker image, etc., and handles all of that for me. As I say, it's just where it gets tricky is the hooking into Salesforce. That's all kind of like setting up your CI server. It's all a little bit clunky.
Yeah, really smart. It looks like from the comments that people are all big fans of the auto population of markup and tags.
So I found that, I think, via don't know if anyone else is on it. Dev.to, which is like an online development community. It's quite React focused and quite JavaScript focused, but they also have these listicles from time to time, 10 great plugins for VS Code and 10 great Node packages and things like that. And there is some absolute gems in there. And I couldn't believe that I had missed this. And it was built into VS Code and I didn't have to do anything. Very annoying.
No, that's ace. Brilliant. Thank you. So next up, we have, where's my list? Oh, Nikita.
Yeah, let me share. Oh, yeah. Could you please make me a presenter?
Yeah, I think. Oh, Keir is driving that and he's just left his thing. I think I can do that. Can I do that? More. No, I can't. Keir, could you pass presenting controls over, please? I don't. Yeah, I think.
Sorry, yep, just pulled away for a moment there. So Nikita is now co-host.
Smash. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Okay, so thank you for inviting me. My name is Nikita. I'm in Moscow, and it's like almost 10:30 now in Moscow. So I'm working Deutsche Bank, and what's the most important, I guess, here is what I'm going to talk is a script that I use for test-driven development. And unlike all the previous speakers, everything I will show is what I built myself. So I'm do-it-yourself guy. So a quick introduction into the test-driven development. So the idea is that you write a test first, then you write a code that passes it, and then you refactor until you're happy with the result and get the clean code that you want. And so what you need to do very often when you do the test-driven development is you need to run tests, obviously. And so what I used to do is I have here a sample project. Actually, not a sample, it's my one of my open source projects. So I had to push first and then go into this test tab here and launch the tests that I wanted to execute. So this is pretty tedious, and though it takes like probably several seconds, still when you do it all the time, you quickly get tired. So what I did is I created a plugin, not a plugin yet. I created a simple script that basically pushes the code for me and launches all the tests and gets me the results. So it works in 3 modes actually. So I have this the normal mode where it just pushes code for you. This whole thing is built on VS Code tasks, which is also a pretty cool feature. So basically, you can automate anything with shell scripts, for example, or Node.js scripts. So it works in 3 modes. And first, let me show you the test-driven development mode. So what it does, it executes the force for source status comment, gives you the result. Then it pushes the code to Scratch.org. It only works with Scratch.org for now. And then it runs all the tests for you, or specified tests in my example. So it also it runs the tests on the default Scratch.org and gives you the result in the human readable format. And what else it does is it actually populates. It actually kind of, let's say, integrated with this feature that Todd showed earlier, the code coverage overlay. So it generates the same files, so the overlay works. That's the very simple use case for it. But the thing is that the third part of the red-green refactoring cycle is the refactoring. And what I added there is the so-called TCR mode. So let me switch to it. What it does is when you launch the tests and when you type something, launch the tests, and they fail, it actually reverts your changes to the previous state. So this way, you always have the code that works in your VS Code. So let's quickly take a look at how it does it. So basically here, as you can see, if you can read Bash, oops, too much. So it does status, then it does push. If push fails, it reverses the changes. And the same goes for the run test. If run test fails, it also reverses the changes. And let's take a look here. The test will now fail because it's division by 0. Oh, come on. Okay, as you can see, the test failed and it reverted the changes. But if the test pass, let me show it in another example. So let's make the test. Let's make a change and make the test pass. What I have here is a plugin that I also made myself that automates some actions, like for example, adding an overload, method overload. So you can just use this as a simple bulb action, where you select what the parameter that you want to overload, and then type in the default value, and it creates a method overload like this. Okay, let's launch the plugin. So as you can see, I'm not using the command palette to use it because I actually set up a shortcut that does this this front pass command for me, which also you can do just by executing this command. This is standard VS Code command, and you need to pass a label of the command, which you populate in your tasks JSON. And back to this thing. Yeah, still runs the test. But basically what it will do, it will commit the changes with this like temporary commit message, which you can basically then overwrite with some comments like rebase or amend or something like this for the Git. Okay, and that's basically all I have. Yeah, I will also provide all the links to this the repos with this code in the chat. Thank
you. Please. Yeah. I was going to be my first question. Can we have some links? I think that's amazing.
Yeah, of course.
That's really good. And so what drove you to write these in the first place? Was it just the fact that you were realizing you were doing the same thing again and again, or was there a push from?
Yes. No. I was just like doing this again and again, and I was like, why the hell I cannot make this?
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? As a developer, you're like, I'm sure I can make this better.
I can spend 6 weeks automating to save an hour.
That's right. But how many hours, Keir? That's the question, isn't it? I always telling that to my boss. I say, look, I think I might need a couple of days to automate this thing through. I'm like, a couple of days? I was like, yeah, actually.
No, actually, the script took me like half an hour to write, but the plugin that does this overall thing, it was like a couple of days. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. When you said half an hour, I think
I'm still developing it. I mean, it only can do like it only can add an overload and generate a getter and setter for you, but that's it. So I'm still planning to add some more actions. I developed a plugin like this for Sublime back in the days when Sublime was the main tool for software development for me, and I really miss the plugin.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, be good. We'll share all the links as well if you can provide those. Thank you. So next up is Sonia, who's joining us from Jaipur, was it? I think. Is that right, Sonia?
Yeah, hi.
Brilliant. Thank you for joining us. We travelled the globe completely here. It's brilliant. I love that. There's one plus, I suppose, about the travel.
Thank you. Yeah. Can I my screen?
Yeah, I've just made you co-host, so you should be able to share.
Okay, hi. Hello. Okay. Hello.
Hello. Yes, we have that now.
Yeah. Okay. So what I will be sharing is since I have started working on Lightning Web Component, and we definitely are not using the playground anymore. So what I came across is the local development server. So developing Lightning component faster with local development server is I will be talking about. What we need to do is it definitely does not come with the Salesforce CLI plugin as of now, but eventually this will be shipped with the Salesforce CLI out of the box, and we don't need to install it manually. But right now we will need this sfdx plugin install @salesforce lwc dev server command to install the local development server in your VS Code. And then once the plugin is installed, we can run the local development server on your Salesforce project by running the start command, that is sfdx force:/lightning:/lwc:/start. And now you will be thinking what we can achieve by doing this is that earlier what was the requirement that whenever I need to create a UI on my LWC component, every time I need to deploy my code in my Scratch org, and then I need to preview. But after installing local development server, I can definitely preview it there only within a second, and it definitely we don't have to deploy the code every time. So it saves a lot of time, and if there are any errors in the code, you can see the errors in the component with a clear description. Its main thing is that it does not support Safari in beta release as of now. So, and I will be sharing some of the clippings. See, this is the local development server when we preview our LWC components. And this is the bundle, that is LWC bundle, my project package. So here, these are all the components whichever I want to view in the, I want to preview. And how can we do that is, suppose I have to create a component, my first LWC component, and I'm using a lightning card, and I'm using paragraph tag with the showing my content here. And while developing this, the developer wants to preview how it looks like. So what he will be do when he will be going to the particular component and type sfdx preview component locally. So he will definitely can view the component at the same time, right? So, and again, if the developer wants, suppose I have the requirement to put a lightning input box, and I'm putting some icons there, and I want to see if the icon size is as per my requirement. So I will be writing the code, and I will preview the component, and it will be there as it is. So this has made my life so easy by giving me different flexibility of creating the components and seeing them side by side. And another one is the code tour extension. This is a really good tool for developers so that they can provide a walkthrough to the new teammates or new developers or any other their team members. And this will totally give them a walkthrough of the code from, I mean, where they're starting. This is the code extension, code tool from the VS Code extension. How it work is, we can create, for suppose we have 4 pages in my LWC component. One is the activation page for the user, one is the registration, one is the waiting for the user, and another last one is the updating. So here I can I can create a virtual walkthrough of all my code for the new user or for the new developer, and he can definitely walk through my code by just clicking on the play button, and he will be provided all the information how my code goes through and about the life cycle of all my code. This is what I think is the need of the hour for any developer who wants to provide more information regarding his code to the new people. This is it. Thank you. Thank you. Hello.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for listening.
Thanks very much. I did not know about Code Tour. That looks awesome.
Yeah, I was just looking up again. That's really very smart, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be using that.
Wow. There we go. I don't think I even spotted that when you mailed in, Sonia. I don't know.
I might use the code tool for showing the best practices to developers how to stick to the basic code structure that you might want to.
Actually, yeah. Since I have started my journey in the Salesforce ecosystem last year only. I was on career break, and then I think by using these kind of tools makes life easy for the developers and saves a lot of time. Thank you.
Yeah, it seems super useful. Like, we have some non-standard interfaces for triggers and classes that it would be great to have a code. It would have been great to have a code for when I onboarded. So definitely going to use that one.
No, that's really handy. Thank you very much, Sonia. Right, who is next? Oh, I have another one now, if people will indulge me. This will be hopefully something you don't know about. Let's go for this again. Right. This is the sfdx sfdx plugin and VS Code extension. So what's sfignore? Well, what's the .force-ignore file? This is the file in your sfdx project that basically determines what gets ignored for push and pulls to and from orgs. Why do we need this? Well, the biggest thing here, I suppose, is are you able to tell me now which syntax is needed if you want to ignore a a site.com piece of meta from your project, it's really anyone's guess. And the same again if you're trying to ignore an application menu. The force ignore file is very pernickety, to say the least. There is appears to be no standard matching against file extensions, meta file extensions, or cases. And so I came up with this. Let me make this bigger. Can I make this bigger? Came up with this force ignore plugin and extension that can just be installed from npm. I have it in here now, and let's say I wanted, this is my force ignore file, by the way, in here. Let's say I wanted to add a site.com entry. Does anyone know what we should put in here? If I had I don't know, my site. Does anyone have an idea what we might enter in here? I don't know what it is. I can't remember, and I wrote this thing. But what we do have is with my plugin is a command that looks like this. Oh no, that's far too big, isn't it? I've got this sfdx add, and then the metadata type site.com. I'm passing it the name, and I have a -r argument in here, which is for the remote side, because sfdx has different syntaxes for local and remote ignores. So you decide what can and cannot get pushed or pulled. And if I run this, we should hopefully see something happen. Oh yeah, although my force ignore file's not been updated, has it? Ah, cancel, don't save. Oh no, look, this is what live demos are all about. Don't save.
I think it's because did you make changes?
I probably did. Yeah, it was conflict. Oh, it's there. There we can see my Brill site is a .site extension, which is handy. That's answer number one. As you have a look at the app menu one now, any ideas what the entry might be in there? I'm going to guess it's app menu, lowercase a, maybe. We'll see. It runs through. Oh, it is. Oh, that was quite a good guess then. But basically, it took me masses of trial and error to work out what each of the entries were for the supported types in here, just because they're not documented anywhere, unfortunately. And so this saves me a fair bit of time when I'm starting up new projects in here. So as well as the sfdx plugin, I also have a wrapper around it, which basically just calls, like I think makes bash calls out to a VS Code extension. So I can just add to force ignore, and then I can choose the type of metadata I want to add, and this one will be I think, is it called something like custom sales profile? I think it's quite a common one that gets added in. And so what this extension and plugin will also do for you is take care of some of the funny encoding that is required for some special characters, but not all special characters within the force ignore file. So you see the entry that was just added there, the colon now becomes %3a, although spaces and other things don't get encoded. So it's a bit, yeah, it takes away some of that legwork for you. And that's a whistle-stop tour of what that is. Have I got another slide on this? Maybe. Oh no, that's not doing slides. That's doing. I'm not even presenting. Look at that. How professional am I? So some notes. There have been some updates to the force ignore handling in. There's a V2 format. I think I haven't checked against that now. So some warnings about your mileage may vary at the moment. There is the GitHub repo for it. It's an open source project and can be installed with just sfdx plugins install sfdx And for the VS Code extension, yeah, just search for sfdx. And that was quick, wasn't it? But yeah, that has definitely saved me a lot of time. It did take me many hours to build, which comes back to the level of investment. But hopefully, yeah, hopefully we'll save some people some time if they're needing to do that. Yeah, that's the sfdx. I see.
Todd,
yes.
Can you ignore entire directories? So, for example, if I wanted to ignore entire page layouts, for example, which is quite a common thing you might want to exclude, can you just say ignore everything in this folder?
There are rules around kind of whitelisting and directories. Unfortunately, they're not the same for every metadata type. So if you wanted to ignore an entire local directory, then yes, I think you can do that. But if you wanted to, for example, say ignore specific custom fields or something like that, then you can't. I've written up a blog post on the things I did run into, but yeah, I think if you're wanting to ignore an entire local directory, then you can give it an absolute relative directory path, and it will take care of that. There are really many weird nuances with that. One of the things is that also if you've got things that are named the same but are different metadata types, then you're entering a whole world of pain and trying to work out actually what gets ignored, which can be a pain. Yeah, but yeah, feel free to have a play and let me know if it breaks for you, and we'll see where we go. Yes,
we actually on the project back in the days, we actually ignored the default directory completely because we wanted to control what actually gets into the repo. I mean, like when you do a git pull, it just all saves everything to the default directory, and then you need to manually put it to the directories to commit it, to basically commit. Worked pretty well.
That's a fantastic top tip, actually. To if you've got custom directory structures, then to ignore that default one. Otherwise, you end up just kind of losing stuff into there, not knowing where it's gone. No, that's brilliant. Yeah, good point. Cool. So that was that, and I think last up for tonight, I think as we're doing pretty good for time, actually, just a little bit behind. Keir, we're back to you again.
Me again. You lucky people. A double dose. So this is something which some people might know about because I've talked about it at London's Calling and a few other meetups and on the Salesforce Developer Podcast. So this is my org documenter plugin, which I originally wrote because I was being asked by customers, can we have a document which lists all the objects and fields so that we can use that as a data dictionary and give that to various people? And I kept saying, but Salesforce is self-describing. You can just go and look on there. And they didn't like Salesforce, they didn't have access to Salesforce. So after doing that a couple of times, and to be honest, it wasn't that it was particularly arduous and took me forever, because once you've done it once, it's then a matter of tweaking. But by God, is it boring. So I thought there's no way I can continue to do this on a regular basis. And I can write a plugin, and I can write some node code, which is obviously hugely entertaining, and who wouldn't want to do that? So this is my example repo from my London's Calling talk, which I've kind of maintained as I've gone along. I've got 5 custom objects in there with various fields and what have you. And then I've got a little config file over here called bb.config. bb.doc is the name of my sfdx plugin, which I've already installed to the sfdx on this particular code space. And in the config file, I basically describe what I want to document. So I've got the objects is the first stanza, the name, description, the subdirectory where I can find the metadata. If I'm pulling an image in for the report that's output, so a little bit of information, giving it a clue about the metadata, because you can't just derive it. And then it allows me to group. So I've got the concept of a grouping of objects that are associated with events. So this is a bookstore, so I've got book signing and an author reading. And then I've got the uncategorized objects, which are the other things like a publisher, like a book, and like a store. I also do triggers, which is something that I added afterwards. And it just pulls a little bit of information out about triggers. And then I also did Aura enabled, which is looking to see if you've got OR enabled classes which aren't being referred to in any of the profiles and permission sets that you've got in version control. So this is all based on version controlled source. It's all done with your local metadata. It doesn't try and reach out to an org particularly. I think there's probably a couple of use cases where it might help to be able to do that, but I've so far shied away from it. So I've got a little command. bbdoc is the name of my plugin, bbdoc::doc. I can't remember if I've actually got anything else apart from doc. I tell it where I want the report to go. I tell it where the code lives. This is -s, it's source format, and it's in there because I think originally I handled metadata format as well. Wouldn't recommend trying that now because I haven't tested that for months. And I tell it my config file. So I run that and it wanders through my code and it produces some output. And one of the things I can do in here, it's another useful plugin actually. If I do Shift-Command-V, did that work? Let's try again, Shift-Command-V. Previewing HTML, which is quite a nice plugin. It's not live, so you can't navigate around it. But this is what the output of the report is. So basically, it tells me some information about custom objects, about my triggers, and about my OR-enabled classes. It also has some little flags on there to say if there's issues that I've found. So this isn't trying to be static code analysis because there's obviously a very good system called PMD, which the False CLI, Salesforce CLI now has a plugin for, the CLI scanner. Definitely recommend using that. This is kind of looking over your code base rather than looking at specific items of code. And it's really basically a couple of things that I needed to do. So here's a live example. This is that particular report, the last time I ran it, pushed to Heroku. And if I go into my objects, hopefully Heroku will wake up. So it said there was a warning and it's basically flagged up that the following fields are missing descriptions, which is something that really bugged me. I kept finding that there were empty ones in there. So rather than having to go through and figure them out, I highlighted them in yellow. So we should see here, we've got the objects associated with the event, does a little bit of enrichment, so adds some additional information. If they use things like a global value set, it'll go and pull all the details from that. And it also flags in here if it's missing. I think it also make it flag if there's a to-do in there, because if there's a to-do, obviously it's a little bit awkward to start handing that off to customers. So we need to rectify that before we do anything with it. And then my uncategorized objects are basically the other ones. So you can see the global value set. I've got a genre, which is used in a number of places. So it just pulls in some additional information from elsewhere in the metadata, being as we've got the metadata to hand. Then triggers, we've got some errors on this. So if we have a look at the detail of that, there's been some duplicates detected. So we've got two files which both refer to before insert on a particular type of object. So you can see here we've got an action of before insert and before insert and before update. And as we know, there will be no guarantees made about the order in which those triggers run. So that'd be a lovely surprise. Final thing that I added fairly recently, because of Winter 21 basically, was OR-enabled components. So controller classes which have got OR-enabled methods that are used by components. Those classes need to appear in the profile or permission set in Winter 21 in order to be accessible. And if they're not, then that could cause you a problem. I mean, it might be that you're not actually using this, because obviously I don't, well, not obviously, but I don't go wandering off to see whether this is actually used in any other components, etc. I'm not going down to that level of detail. And this is really just something where it just made my life a bit easier, and it probably took me about half a day to add this kind of capability in, because I'm already wandering all the metadata and processing it. So I just dropped in another processor. But what it's really about for me, as I say, is it was about the objects, about the data dictionary, and being able to group things into logical areas and pull in a bunch of information. And then I can publish this onto something like Heroku, and then just give the login information to the customer, and they can go and see their live one. And one of the use cases I could think of where getting into an org could be useful is you can actually bundle this up into a static resource and publish it back into the org, so that, and then publish that out on a site or a community or something like that if you so desired, which is something I might do. Yeah, that is that. If you're interested in any more about this, it's all over my blog. It's literally, it's got its own page, and there's about 8 or 9 blog entries where I go through kind of my initial attempts to produce nice HTML templates out of this, which were initially terrible, then slightly less terrible, and then I used EJS and I actually did it properly and threw away a huge amount of code. So you can see all those missteps that I made and enjoy that particular journey.
Looks really cool. Quick question, actually, here is Does it show if fields are not, or which page layouts fields are used on?
It doesn't do anything like that at the moment. There's no reason why it couldn't, because it should be able to go and find those. It's got access to all the meta, as long as you've got your metadata with the page layouts in version control.
Yeah.
It's on GitHub. It's an open repo, so feel free to raise an issue on that, and I'll have a look at it when I get some time. So we do have an open pull request from Todd on this, which generates some images to go, data model images to go with these groups, which is very cool, which I can't get working on the Mac. And it relies on some kind of native stuff. It's not pure Node, so I haven't had a chance to do very much with that. But hopefully get that going at some point.
That's laziness on my part. I need to have a look at that. Sorry, Keir.
No, I don't think it's. I think it's just there's obviously something which is required when it's running on the Mac, but it all got a bit complicated when I had a quick look at it. So it's just something where I need to spend a bit more time on it.
That's good. The scope here is ginormous, right? Do you think it's? I mean, there's a possibility to visualize kind of declarative stuff right through, say triggers and.
So I'll tell you what, the dream in the back of my head, and I think this will have to wait until I retire, is the amount of work that is there. I think it should be possible using the order of execution to show the automation that will happen when you save an object, for example. So these are all the things that will fire, and it should be able to handle, like, this is then a roll-up summary will happen, and then these other things, these triggers and flows, etc., will fire. I think that would be really useful, but I also think there's a lot of work there, so it's not something I've tackled yet.
No, I mean, Christmas is going to be quiet this year, so we look forward to that.
No, we're going to be unlocked for Christmas, aren't we? We can go nuts for a week.
Oh, not my part of the world. We're going to be entering triple lockdown, I think, down here.
No, they were talking today. I don't know if it's been. I mean, this is all rumor control that's in the newspapers, but apparently we're going to be let loose for 5 days over Christmas, and then obviously locked down twice as hard once that's happened, because we'll go and ruin all the good work.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I thought we have a vaccine that's 94% effective now. COVID is over. No more pandemics. We've cured everything.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get briefly back on topic. Sorry. Thank you, Keir. And that's it. I think from the people who had put forward. I know there are people who pinged late today, but I hadn't got time to getting in to look at those things. So if you do have something to share that's similar, then please do let me know. We'll try.
Yeah, there's no reason why we can't run another one of these.
Yeah, definitely. That's if people have found it useful. So yeah, please leave us feedback. I think you'll probably get emailed, ask us how you thought the event went. So we'd be really interested to see what you thought of this type of approach to a meet. And that brings us round to, I think, a vote, if that's okay. And also, Joey Chan has very generously offered up an extra prize, which I thought we could differentiate between the first and second places. Or
hopefully we can. We'll find out.
To the third place person. Joey, do you want to tell us about this extremely generous offer?
So we actually have a discount code, or technically coupon, for a personal subscription for an JetBrains license. So either it's IntelliJ Ultimate or WebStorm. I recommend WebStorm for Salesforce, so you can use it quite well with Lightning Web Components and all. So yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, should we put that as an additional prize for number one spot? Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do that.
Winner take all.
Well, I don't know. I mean, all we could do. I don't know I'm really bad at working out values of things. Which we do the cert vouchers for 1 and 2, and the JetBrains for the 3 for third.
Cert vouchers are worth $200, right?
200 or 400.
2 or 400.
Yeah. True.
Maybe 400.
Yeah, it's not that much. Yeah, the license.
Probably
third prize.
How about we let the people that come in those, so whoever comes first gets the choice. Whoever comes second gets the choice of what's left, and whoever comes third gets what's left.
I like that. Yeah, delegation's what we need.
Absolutely. We're not responsible for it.
I don't. Yeah, I don't want any responsibility. Okay, let's do this then. Let's launch
the poll then. Right. Bit fastest fingers. Come on, let's get those votes in.
Yeah, let's get those votes in. Do you want to remind us who talked about what was the event? So Sonia had the code tour and what was the other one? I've got to refer.
Local Lightning Web Component Server.
Local Lightning, that's it. Yeah. Jerry talked to us about the Chrome Inspector and the other extension. I can't remember that one now.
DevTools.
Nikita talked to us about the TDR and TCR scripts. Erica talked to us through Workbench and the perm and profile pieces. And Lawrence talked to us about Emmet. No, tab 9. Tab 9. Yeah, the AI thing. I don't get to vote. You get to vote? I don't get to vote.
Don't you? I did.
No. Well, I feel bad. I can't
I think maybe because you're the one who pressed the button.
You can swing the vote.
I'm not even allowed to. I'm not even allowed to.
No, I launched the poll. Yeah. I was allowed to vote in it and influence it. I don't remember saying Todd should be excluded, but maybe I did.
Well,
it's probably the default.
Can you vote, Erica?
So anything can happen. It could be my Ubuntu Zoom that has caused this agony.
29 of 32 have voted.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah.
We know that it's not only going to get to 31. They'll give it a few more seconds if anyone else wants to vote. If anyone's agonising over who to choose.
I'm not sure the numbers make any difference. I mean, if you were Trump now, you'd be. Well,
you'd be claiming victory.
Yeah.
Oh. Actually, this is going to be really unfortunate.
I declare victory. I declare presidency.
This is super unfortunate because we have a 4-way tie for second.
4-way tie for second.
Okay, I'm going to hit end poll.
End poll. So Joey, congratulations.
Joey won. Well done.
Would you?
Joey can take his own prize if he wants.
Yeah, that JetBrains voucher, right?
Of course. Of course. So yeah, certification for me.
Cracking. Let me write that.
Okay, what we can do, I think, to split second. So Joey wins. I can relaunch. I can relaunch that poll, which I think will clear it. But then, if no one can vote for Joey, we'll see how with the remaining 4 we can split that into if we can get a second and third out of it. So should we give that a shot?
Yeah.
This is our first poll, so we're learning on this. Right.
Wait. Shouldn't we wait for the mail-in ballots?
We don't have any truck with those. Right. The poll's back up. Please don't vote for Joey. Oh. Crikey, the votes are flying in now.
They are. Can everybody see the results live?
No.
Is it just?
No.
Just you.
Oh, just me. I can't vote and I can see the results.
Well, you see, you then choose to share the results afterwards if you want to.
Right then. Everyone's voted. We're back up to more. I think 1 or 2 more people managed to vote this time. How very interesting.
Tiebreakers.
2 people did vote for Joey, so that's very cool.
This is the Russians now coming in, you see, as part of the extra voting going on.
Right, ending the poll. So there we go. We have
Yeah,
a decision.
blame the Russian.
Lawrence comes second and Erica comes third. Tiebreaker.
Congratulations. Well deserved, everybody. And thank you, everyone, for taking part. Lawrence, you came second. Your choice of the prize.
Oh, thanks. Thanks very much, everyone. I'll go for the JetBrains voucher. Thanks.
Wonderful.
I had a chance to play with Illuminated Cloud, so I'd love to give it a go. Thank you.
Cool. Brilliant. That is excellent. And Erica, that means congratulations. You get a Salesforce certification voucher. So not PD1.
It's definitely not PD2. I think for that I need like support. I need a lot of exercise. So maybe it will be for Service Cloud.
Well, they'll last. Oh no, they don't last a whole year now. I don't remember the expiry on them. I think they might be maybe July or something. So you could give that as a push target for July.
I can make it for a target for 2021. Yeah, it's at least I feel it would be easier than PD2, the Service Cloud.
Yeah.
Oh,
good stuff.
They say it's really hard. So
I think it depends.
You'll be fine.
I found Service Cloud one of the more straightforward ones because I found everything, like it seemed to be very measurable to me. Everything they were asking, it seemed like it was all kind of nice and technical almost. Whereas I found Sales Cloud really difficult. That all seemed very ephemeral. And yet one of the guys I worked with was exactly the opposite. So I think it just depends on how you find it, really. It'd just be your journey.
I'm absolutely the opposite. Service Cloud I found weirdly difficult. The test, not so much the material, but I found the example by heart.
I like to tell people that Sales Cloud is exactly like admin with just a few additional variations. But if you passed admin, you can pass Sales Cloud.
And for Service Cloud, I think I remember I gave Service Cloud, I just did a Service Cloud Super Batch, and that was enough. So I immediately booked the certification, and it was like within 8 hours I had both certification and the super badge. So it's very easy. I found it very easy because the super badge is kind of structured towards very specially towards the Service Cloud, and certainly helps with the certification as well.
Yeah, either way, we're here speaking theoretically, but Erica, you went from like homemaker to admin to developer in like a year. You'll probably be fine.
I'm a good student, but yeah, now my job is to develop. So that is the main priority, and that is the hardest bit. So, but I put it for 2021 because I cannot have something free and not use it. Let's be honest. So, and knowledge is power. So, okay. Thanks to you, I will have next year a new certification and I have a new goal.
Nice. Very nice.
Yes, excellent. I think I think that draws us to the close of all of our formal agenda. 10 past 8. I don't know what that looked like compared to the made up agenda that I thought we'd run to. But I mean, I only really compare it to the admin meets, and they are like a tangled web of time travel and yeah, it's like time traveling through various off licenses. I think.
Hey, look, we always say our times are always approximate, and we do have formal stuff, and then we go off and have the after show party pub virtually now. But there we are. You know, that's how we roll.
But I think that was
yeah. We were 7:45. We were supposed to be finished, so we're only 25 minutes out. That's not bad.
Oh, you see, you're doing absolutely admin times there. Great. Spot on.
That's perfect. So I'm gonna stop the recording now. So this is, if anyone wants to say anything, I don't know.
Contentious.
I would like to say that as my first meeting in dev, that was amazing. I have like all those notes that tomorrow I can share and say, okay, those are like super quick wins that you can do. So thank you everyone for sharing, and there's stuff that I didn't understand, but 90% of it was super easy for me to understand. So thank you very much for everybody who took the time to share their knowledge.
Absolutely. I've got like 4 new add-ons installed just from tonight. Tomorrow I was supposed to be doing work, but I think I'll just be spending the whole day tinkering around and maybe setting some new peacock colors for my various projects.